My name is Amari Monroe, and today I'm going to be teaching you about the abolitionist Henry Box Brown. In the 19th century, the term abolitionist refers to people who wanted to end/abolish slavery. This ultimately led to the creation of the abolitionist movement, which was set up to free slaves and end racial segregation and discrimination. Abolitionists often made attempts to stop the expansion of slavery in western areas, and many notable people decided to participate in this movement. Henry Box Brown was born into slavery in 1815 in Louisa County, Virginia. He grew up as an enslaved person with better circumstances than the rest because he knew who his family was and was able to have a better bond with them. Even though he had a better life than other slaves, he wanted freedom more than anything in the world and used the hardships that he faced throughout his life to motivate the way he escaped. As a child, Henry spent his younger years with his family, which consisted of his mother, his father, his 4 sisters, and his 3 brothers. Each member of his family belonged to a man by the name of John Barrett, who was a former mayor of Richmond, Virginia. And after the death of John Barrett, the family was split up from Henry except for his sister Martha. They were both sent to work in the tobacco field many miles away from his old plantation. After Brown was sent away to Richmond to work in the tobacco factory, he decided to get married. He had 4 children, but he was unable to live with them. In 1848, his wife and children were taken to a different plantation in North Carolina. This was a tremendous loss for Henry, and this fueled his motivation for escaping slavery. Brown eventually became an active member of the church, and he decided to pick up help from James Caesar Anthony Smith and Samuel Smith to help aid him with his escape. Brown's plan was to ship himself away like cargo from Richmond to Philadelphia, and in Philadelphia, slavery had been abolished. Henry knew that his idea was outrageous and could go back quickly, but instead of stopping his plan, he decided to get Samuel Smith to ship him in a box anyways. Samuel shipped a box containing Brown by Adams Express Company on March 23, 1849. The box was labeled dry goods and was lined with lots of cloth and had a single hole cut at the top for Henry to breathe. 27 hours later, the box arrived at the headquarters of the Philadelphia Anti-Slavery Society, where Brown hopped out, and when Henry hopped out the box, he recited these very words: "I waited patiently on the Lord, and he heard my prayer." And he began to sing the song to the delighted men present. Due to the fact that Henry's escape was successful, Samuel Smith decided he would ship more people from Richmond to Philadelphia. His plan was discovered, and he faced jail time. Because Henry told others about how he escaped, this caused issues with other abolitionists such as Frederick Douglass. Brown's escape was successful, but others weren't. And it was solely based on the fact that he couldn't keep his mouth shut about how he escaped. Henry once stated these very words: "I felt that life had joys worth living for if I could only be allowed to enjoy them. But my heart was filled with deep anguish from the awful calamity which I was thus obligated to contemplate, as not only a possible but a highly probable occurrence." During Henry's adult life, he also stated this: "I entered the world of a slave in the midst of a country whose most honored writings declare that all men have a right to liberty." He was a musician, and after his escape, he spoke at the New England Anti-Slavery Society Convention in Boston. He toured the region before performing his story, and Boston publisher Charles Stearns published a version of the story, which would be known as one of the best slave narratives in American history. Brown decided to develop another stage show, which included a panorama of the institution of slavery. In 1850, the Mirror of Slavery show opened in Boston. After that, Brown moved to England with his panorama. He remained in England for the next quarter century, but eventually decided to move to Ontario, Canada, where he later died.